Uh, the session is going to be started. Sir, please, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
In continuation of the morning session. So now we are going to see another one important library in data science is like pandas. Right? Morning, we have seen so complete NumPy library, which we are how we are using for basically for multidimensional arrays. We have seen some kind of uh, hands-on also. I'll show you the basic foundation fundamentals. So so now we are going to see about pandas. So let me share my screen first. Geeta ma'am,
Sir.
somebody actually mic it's on Suresh Kumar.
Wait, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Previously morning, just over 2 minutes recap. We have seen about NumPy. So how to uh, use computations, normal arrays we are using for the data storage and a single dimensional, two dimensional, and then multi-dimensional way we are going to visualize that. So for that we are how we are going to visualize into 10 to the power of 8 and 10 to the power of 8 a huge number of values storing instead of libraries like instead of data structures like list and sets and tuples. Instead of that we can use alternative way to store in arrays in multidimensional way with is easiest going to process then multidimensional slicing data which is very fast efficient manner. So that is what actually we have seen in the morning session, and also we can note it out in the final session. End of the morning session I saw some examples of file handling. So if you see file handling, if you are taking any particular file text file, that particular file text file, if your headers often rows and columns, so it reflecting the string values. If you are not processing in numpy, so numpy it is asking string, it is not possible to get for the text file. So further way what we can do that, so we are removing that skip rows and columns, first column and skip first row, then we are processing into so complete text file into some matrix representation. Then matrix representation, we are doing some other work, adding of matrix subtraction and the mod of matrix, exponential of matrix, and cosines of the matrix. We have seen in the morning session. So this session actually, what is the pandas library, how it is works. Then normally pandas, it is addressing the problems of numpy. It is working on top of numpy. So that is a important thing. So some issues in actually is pandas is there. So that how we are going to solve the issues is in NumPy, then we are applied into Pandas library. So you'll see then morning we have seen the broadcasting as well as how to representing the shape of the array, then how to slice the array, how to represent these things into the practical. So this is the most important thing for doing any huge big data analytics or data analytics. If you are getting a huge data, then you can convert into your text file or CSV file into some matrix representation in high dimensional data. Then you can slice it and do a lot of operations instead of it. Then you can find out any, if you want any particular valuable results, you can see it. And you can see here uh, so pandas. So pandas is one of the tool in machine learning, which is used for data cleaning and analysis. So data cleaning and analysis, we founded two problems in NumPy. If you are accessing some text files, if you're uploading some text files in the planets.txt, one file I uploaded it. So that file, inside the file, 9 planets also there, and a lot of parameters, mass, days, length, and how many moons in the planet. All the things we are representing in the first column of the planet, that text file. then some values are there. So mass, how much for the each and every planets, and we are representing all the values in the text file. So what actually happens when we are loading the text file, first thing, it is not accepting the row as a header as a strings, so we can remove the first row and first column. Another one thing, if any values are missed in the inside the text, in the Mars, suppose one particular planet is missed some of the values, so it is showing NaN value. So it is NumPy, it is not taking care of the missing values in the data set. So instead of that, the missing values, that is why I'm saying the data cleaning process and analysis of the data, we cannot do in the NumPy. So instead of, we need another one tool, we can install top of the NumPy. Then we can use top of the NumPy, then we can easily avoiding this data uh, missing values, right? So that is a data cleaning and analysis process. So these two things we have to address for pandas. And it has featuring which are used for exploring, cleaning, transforming, and visualizing from our data, right? And pandas is a Python data analysis library. Panda is a open source BSc license like NumPy library, provides high performance, easy to use data structures and data analysis tool. Primary object type is two types will be there. Like one is a data frame, rows and columns like a spreadsheet. So spreadsheet also like as a database. We are creating simple programs in Java also. We can use in the backend as a spreadsheet or database also. Can store so like a data as rows and columns. We are storing our data, then we can write a query and access the data through some kind of spreadsheets also. It is possible. And also another one object is called a series. So we can create whatever the data we are having, then we can create one particular series in pandas. Then we are forming that series into some data frames, so rows and columns frames. That is also like it's a matrix representation. Otherwise single series we can call, that series we can addressing of it. But what actually now, NumPy, you have to create any data we are given, the data actually is created as a matrix representation of it. That matrix representation we are doing the slicing, broadcasting, all the operations we are doing inside the NumPy. But pandas is a two main primary objects will be there. One is data frame object, another one is series object. So data frame object nothing but rows and columns, and series object is single column. And what is the applications of pandas? Most probably in the medical foundation, neuroscience and economics field, and recommendation system, right? So for Flipkart and Amazon, so any particular product we are going to the recommendation, then the recommendation system also, and also statistics, right? For example, if I want to be browse any particular product in any cell phone, I want to be purchased, then I'll search all the cell phones, what are the price and specification of the cell phones. Then each and every data actually storing in the data points in the backend. So if you're taking the particular customer X is accessing a lot of pages in the particular product, so all the things we are taking as a whole data, which page number he's accessed, then which specification, which particular product. So based on that, we are creating one text file in the log files, right? These text files we are converting into, I need an analysis of all the customers. They are searching for the particular product. So the only one not X% only for searching the product. The whole the day of 24 hours. So 1,000 is a minimum term. 10,000 people are searched for the product. So we are taking into the logs of each and every page what they are searched for the specification and all. We can store in the log file text file. Then we are converting the specification into some comma separated file, and the comma separated file we are converting that file. So that file we are making into one panda series, or otherwise we can make it into one numpy array. So based on that, we are doing some slicing of calculation, what interest the particular person, which date actually he browsed it, which product he browsed it, and what specification he's seen. He is liking which particular specification he is liking, the same product, what are the models are he is liking. So all the things they have to do the operations in the backend, right? There's a recommendation system and stack prediction. The most important thing, we are seeing an example of stock prediction also for pandas. So nifty data set I am also uploaded in already in the Google Colab file. Then we can see the stock close dates for complete 1 year of 2019. When it is stock opened, then the particular day, what is the price of that stock, it is closed. Nifty, it is like all the consultation of all the stocks, we are compiled together and taking the ending and closing value. It is not a single stock. We have seen in the example. And advertising company, we are doing some kind of uh, advertising of a particular product, they have to do some marketing strategy also, we can use the pandas libraries. And also big data, definitely data analytics, and nlp operations also we can use panda, and also data science applications. So most probably the data pre-processing technique, the most important thing. If you are collecting the data and we have to pre-process it, right? If you are we are actually an engineering college, we have to go for NAC and NBA, then we are collecting a lot of data through the Excel sheet. Then a lot of data are actually missed. It. So how we are going to fill the data, or otherwise we can eliminate the rows of the data. So we can understand that if the data is not available, right? So then we can do some alternative way to store the prediction of the data, what actually it is there. Based on that we can put it, right? So this is what actually the applications of pandas we are going to do, we are going to understand it, and what are the features of panda. And cleaning up the data is the first one, and alignment and indexing of data, and great handling of data, which is most important thing. And missing data, multiple file format is supported, and python supported, and grouping of the data we can do it. So grouping is another one of the part, it is missed in numpy. We cannot do the grouping of data in the numpy, and we are not going to find out any average values of any particular series of the data. It's not possible to find values in the numpy. So there is a grouping also one kind of thing, and visualization also it is a one better thing is using pandas library, and input output tools and a lot of time series, and mask of the data and unique data and optimized performance. This all we are considering as the future of the pandas. And we have seen in the morning itself, in the scientific computing or finance analysis, relational data and multimedia data and deep learning applications, most of the storing and processing high dimensional data very efficiently. That is why we required numpy for working with arrays. And numpy package, we have seen that low level storage, two-dimensional, three-dimensional data, two slices of two-dimensional data we are taking it, and we are finding out the indexing of the data. And also we can do broadcasting efficiently, how we are doing for the broadcasting. This also we have seen in the practical session itself, how we can do the broadcasting in unbalanced left and right uh, up, arrays. And also numpy package provides efficient implementation of the functions, arithmetic, statistics, and trigonometrics functions like mean, median. Then statistics with the numpy also separate topic is there, but we are not covered the topic because we have a very large shortage of time. So if you are in master in numpy and pandas, definitely we have to understand about the statistics, how we are doing in the numpy itself, and arithmetic and trigonometric functions also, sine and cos. So how we are using for these functions and applied in numpy. As well as you can see that numpy is missing features to enable data analysis or relational data. Like if you are taking some kind of table, they are given it, and you can see the table and student ID and subject and 10th marks and 12th marks. It's there. Student ID is a unique one. They are given some subjects and 10th and 12th mark. So you can see some of the missing values also available in this table. Science, the particular row, third row, and the science 91 10th mark and actually 12th mark is missed out. And also Hindi subject and 10th mark is there, but 12th mark is missed out. These two rows actually is having the missing value. But NumPy it doesn't care about that rows, what are the values are missed in the database. It is not like that. So NumPy it is not caring of it. So we can NAN it will be representing of it. So but pandas it will be seeing that if the numerical data will be available there, but data are missing out. So that time we can calculate all the average of the 10th mark and 12th mark. We can substitute in the average values of means into the missing values. So you can see an example in the practical session. I can show you. This is also it is missing feature in numpy. As well as if representation of the table, you can see here student id, subject, and 10th and 12th mark. So they are representing in the rows format is stacking with student id. Another way of the representation of the data, I can show it student id, 10th mark, 12th mark, and subject 1, subject 2, subject 3, I can put it. So each and every value in the 5 rows are representing. I want to be sure each and 5 rows are representing in kind of single row for a single student, right? Single row for a single student. It is required a subject, one subject, two, and max and English and science, max and Hindi. So this thing I can put it into the heading of the table. So multiple ways I have to represent it, but this is the relational data. So we can combine with the data in different formation of the subtables. So this is also we can do in the NumPy uh, library. We can use relational data which is efficiently handled with pandas. So these are the main things actually we need to understand about pandas is working on top of the NumPy. This is the limitation of NumPy. It is everybody wants to understand first thing. That is why we are going to understand about the pandas. First, the no way to attach labels to data. That is why I'm saying that labels is nothing but it's a heading of the columns, right? It's not a problem. If you are using that particular data, relational data accessing for the NumPy, the relational data headers we can definitely we should remove from this data set. Then only we are going to do the next operations in NumPy. But in pandas, so we are having to solve this problem, and no pre-built methods to fill missing values. So if missing value is the fill 0 or NaN normally. So no other methods it is available in NumPy to processing of the missing values of uh, in the database. No way of grouping of the data. That is what I'm saying. Grouping is nothing but you can collect all the marks of the signs, all the marks of the max. Then you can find out any average marks, then mean, median of the marks. This is not possible to do with the grouping of the data with the NumPy operation. So instead of that, we can do in the pandas. And another one thing, final one is know the pivot data. Pivot data is nothing but that is why actually the representative of the table it is showing already five values are there, five rows are also there. So we can change in the table in the formation of the hierarchical way, or change into the table into form of we are given the subject name into some given title header. Then we can follow each student is a single row we have to represent it. Each row contains marks of one student, right? So this how much things we want to change the relational data, so we can do in the pandas. So these are the limitations actually in NumPy. That is why we need to understand how to implement these things into how to rectify these things into pandas. And you can see here pandas is built up top of NumPy to make data processing and relational data easier. So this is the most thing first we will understand it. These are the theoretical part we have to do first understanding of pandas. So now we are moving into the Google Colab, then how to do for a simple pandas, how to execute it, how to write import pandas, and how to create a series, how to create a data frame in pandas. Then we will see one by one, right? So I hope everybody will understand what is the problem with the NumPy, then why we are going for the pandas library. Instead of that, these limitations only, we are moving into the pandas library. Pandas library is nothing but it's working with the top of the NumPy, right? So now I'm moving on to the Google Colab file. So now we can see here import NumPy as NP is a alias name of NumPy. So wherever we are using for NumPy, instead of that we can use dot NP. And another one is pandas. So we can use PD. So PD is the pandas short tail. So whenever it is want to create any panda file, panda series or panda data frame, you can use PD, right? So this is a predefined inbuilt library. That library is supporting for machine learning. Already know that. This NumPy library is supporting for array-oriented computation operations. We can easily gather large amount of data into the portion of multi-dimensional array, then slicing, and then we can do broadcasting. We can do a lot of operations using NumPy, statistically also. And pandas you can see here. First two things I'll show in the slide. Pandas is almost two objects. One is series and another one is data frame. Series is nothing but a single row, and data frame is nothing but a rows and columns. First, we can see a single row how to do in the series database, and then we can do how to do in the data frame, right? Here you can see here creating series objects. So first we can how to create a series in pandas, right? So first we know understand about how to do in the series in pandas. So we have to create one series using pd dot. So this is a term, this is a syntax, pd dot series. I'll create one series like one series is like Fibonacci, like 0 1 1 2 3 5 6. This is a Fibonacci series. So I'll create it. So this is the format to create a single series using pandas. So normally if you want to create any array, that array index with starting with the 0 1 2 3 4, indexing, overall indexing of array, it is af5. It means we are starting with af0 to af4. Here also we are creating one series of data 0 1 2 1 2 3 5 8. This is a, like it's showing a Fibonacci series data. Now we are creating one series, then we can print the series. So it's showing here 0.0 1.1. So this is a series we started it. Then this series is showing the index. So index automatically it shows the 1 is 0.0, 2 is 1.0, 3 is 1.0, and then automatically the index will be created 1 to 7. The values will be representing for here. The data type of actually these values are representing is the float values, right? So here you can see, then you can, yes. So what actually here I'm not running this particular row. I run it this particular row. That is why it's showing it is here. So these all are integer values. So it's showing here integer 64. So the type of the values here it's a floating value starting with 0.0. It is next value is 1.0, 1.0, 2.0 is a floating series. It will be showing all the values here. This is the value of the series S. Next we are creating, if you want to find out, for example, if you are created an array f0, if you want to print, right? So or otherwise if you want to print all the values of an array, the same thing, one series I created is integer series or floating series. I want to check all the values of the series. So you can produce all the values of series s dot values. You can see here one array, it is showing it, all the values are representing in the single value, because the single array, it is not a multi-dimensional array. Multi-dimensional array, how we are going to create using data frames. That is what I'm saying. Data frames is rows and columns, and series it is taking single dimension. Here we are seeing only for series. So single dimensional, we are representing all the values. If you want to print using s dot values, the keyword, using values keyword, you can print all the values of the s a given series. And another one, if you want to print index. So index is nothing but we know that just starting from 0 ending with 7, but 7 is not included in the series, because 0 to 6 it at almost 7 elements also there. Step size of the increment is 1 1 1, 0 plus 1 1 1 1. That is the size of the step. It will be showing a stud index. And for v in stud values, you can use some for loop to print all the values of available in the values. So this is s dot value is containing some rows. If you want to print all the values one by one, you can use for loop also. For v in s dot values, semicolon enter print v. This is a value you have to present list out using for loop. And index also you have to represent it. Here you can execute the index. The same way the index will be printed out. And if you want to put GPS one function, if you want to put together index and values in a single for loop, then you can print in all the items available in the index and values. This actually, if you are using zip values, using some Francis inside, then s dot index, s dot values, it representing the values of output in the kind of tuples. So tuples would be showing in the one other data structure in Python, list, tuple, set, and dictionary. It will be showing tuple value. So tuple value it is showing 0, 0.0, 1, 1.0. So all the values are representing in the series. It will be showing with index, but all the values are representing is a tuples. So if you want to print first value of this series, so what is the first value of the series? 0.0. This is the first value. So you can s of 0 it is printed 0.0, and s of 1 it is printed 1.0. right? This is a S. Actually, this isn't series. Series actually S. So that is why they are starting with S of 0. So the same thing array, like what array we are using in the same thing, we have to do the series itself. So array we have to create directly A of I. Here, one library using pd dot series, we are creating some kind of single dimensional array. And here S of 5, so it will be showing fifth element 5 and 0. And I'll create another one Mars. The Mars is nothing but is a planet. So three planets we are taking it, whichever may be. Yeah, otherwise, we can take one particular planet is a Mercury. So we are finding out three parameters of the planet. One is mass and diameter and day length. That is an index. What is the mass value of the planet of Mercury and diameter and then a day length of the values of the Mercury. We are creating one series here. So PD dot series. So in bracket we are, this is the format square bracket. We can use 0.33 is the mass of the Mercury and diameter 5.52759 is the diameter Mercury, and the day length for 222.6 is the Mercury day length. So if you want to print this series, you can show all the values of here. So mass and diameter and day length. So all the values be representing here. What is the index? Index is mass, diameter, and day length. Value is 0.33 and 57.90 So this is where we can represent print of Mercury. And then if you want to print Mercury of Mars, this is the data. This is actually A. This is a kind of pandas variable. If you want to print only for Mars, you can use this syntax, or otherwise you can use this syntax. Both the syntax will work it out. So the first value is what 0.03 will be printed out. Here, if you want to print a Mercury of day length, it will be printing of the third value of 4222.60. Right here we can print Mercury of Mars the same way. If instead of that square bracket we can use dot Mercury of dot mass. And then if you are creating an array, this thing we see in the numpy itself, equal to np dot numpy. So we are not using here pandas, it is a numpy library we are using here. Np dot random int 0 comma 10 comma 10. What is the meaning of it? 0 to 10 we have to randomly generate 10 elements. So third values of 10 is number of elements randomly generated by 0 to 10. So this value will be generating. If you are generating the arrays in the square bracket, we have to get so all 10 values in between 0 to 10, right? So we can execute these two lines. And we can create one name ind equal to np dot a range of 10 comma 20. So a range of 10 comma 20, you can know that. So number of rows, number of columns. Here, two-dimensional array. It will be storing in the a range of integer. Then we can store it here. A random series. So this is a variable names. Nothing but the variable names equal to pd series. So array. This is an array, random array. Comma index equal to ind. Index equal to index. So actually, this is an index. We are storing this particular 10 to 20. So 10 to 20 it means for 11, 12, 13, 14. Instead of all 10 values will be storing inside it. So this is an index value for this particular series of an array. Now you can print random series. It will be showing first value index is starting from 10. So first value is what? Then randomly is generated, right? So randomly is generated is an array. So you can take all the values of an array. It will be storing an index. This is a random array. So you can execute this one. So each and every time the array will be randomly generated. So here also the random series will be generated from that. So you can execute here. So random series will be coming. It is not a fixed size. So random the values of 0 to 10 will be generated, and this index will be starting from 11 to 19, 10 to 19. The last value it is not included for any random values. So here we can do it. Run the series again. You can run the series. So now we can understand the randomly generated one array. Then the size of an array in single dimensional. Then we can create a separate index. We can build one particular series using pandas. So where we are going to apply, then we can. This is all the things we are not covering for this 1.5 hour session. So it will be you be a master of pandas. You have to understand a lot of operations we have to do in practically, then real time data, then take some text file, then you can upload the text file and do a lot of operations. Then you can understand as a full version of the operations of pandas. Then you can become a master of pandas. Then dictionary know that another one key and value pair already available. This one type of data structure, it is available in Python. So you can create one dictionary. So for example, instead of you can create mercury equal to PD series of 0.3357, so mass diameter index. Instead of that, we can create one dictionary. So can create one dictionary d equal to some empty values. What are the values inside the d? We can create it. Df mass key. What is the value of mass? 0.33. Df diameter 57.9. Df day length 4222.6. We are creating one dictionary here, and we can print the dictionary. It will store in key and value pairs. So mass is the key and value is 0.33. It shows like diameter and day length. And then you can use this particular mercury is a d. This is a d value, right? Dictionary. This dictionary we can create on series. The list we can create a series, tuple we can create a series, set we can create a series, and dictionary we can create a series. So anything you have to create a data structure that values, how the values are stored, then the values you can create a series. You can index the values using separate index itself. Otherwise, automatically one index is showing 0 to the number of values occurred in n minus 1 index are automatically created. If you want to specifically create any index, you can create an index, random index, you can substitute into the series. And you can print mercury, you can show this is the value of the mercury. And if you want to create a series, the dld there, series ld we created. So d comma index of mass diameter day length, we can create separate index also. So the separate index will be created it. And if you want to delete the day length, I don't want it, I want only mass and diameter, you can again you can run this code without the day length. Automatically the day length will remove it. The mercury, it is having the series of only two values and mass and diameter. So this is what actually we have to create a single series. Whichever data we are having, then we can make like a panda series, right? This is a serious one. Next, we are going to for the next concept is location. So location is nothing but we are finding out in normal arrays. We are finding out the location of f0 1 2 3 4 5, right? That is a normal location. Here two things will be there, one ith location and another normal location. So we have to see the difference between iLAC and LAC location, right? You can create one series is containing zero point 0.0 as a floating numbers, up to the fifth series up to 8 values, up to 8, the range of the value 88 0 1 1 2 3 5 8. And we have to create some index, that index starting with 1 and ending with 7. So you can print that series, and the result is displaying here, all the values 1 to 7, and then what the values we are presenting for the series, the value will be representing here 0 0 1.0 1.0 2.0, so 8.0 the value will be representing here. And if you want to find the location of fourth element, normally you can see here what is the difference between LOC and ILAC. So LOC you can see here 0 0 1 0 1 0. So this is the fourth element. So it will be right, fourth element will be storing it. But you can use for ILAC, it is using for the fifth element. ILAC is starting from 0. ILAC is location is not is starting from 0. Location is between the first location index, first, second, third, fourth. Actual location is 2.0. But if you are using for I location, it is starting with 0. So you can, if you want to, so if you want to 0, you can print 0 0. If you want to print here 0, it is an error, right? It's not starting with 0. Whatever the value is presenting in the first value, it will be printing out. For example, if you want to print fourth value, the value will be printed 2.0. So if you want to print I lack of 0, is 0.0 to be printed. Then if you want to print I lack of 0, then 0. So if you want to print any value of 0 in lakh, it will be showing error. That is why I shown now. And if you want to create any one series of mercury, the same value you can see here. PD dot series of the dictionary already we created, index of mass, diameter, and day length. If you want to print mercury dot location, so which particular location it started with the mass, zero, first location, it will be showing 0.33. Same way you can represent in ILAC, so you can use 0 itself. Automatically it is printed out 0.33. So 0th location is stored in mass, first location diameter, second location day length. But if you're using lock, once first location is mass, second location is diameter, day length. So that is why in the lock and ILAC it will be differing it. So if you want to print the reverse order, if you want to print the reverse order, if you want to print a day length value, so if you want to print a day length value, d already one series we created previously, that series is having the value of mass, diameter, and day length. This one this one already we created a d is a series, one dictionary we created, that dictionary we converted into the series, panda series. So right, so if you want to print -1, so automatically 4222.6 will be printed out. Here if you want the slicing of the data, the series, so I want to print 0 to 1. 0 to 1 is nothing but 1, we are not counted it. Zeroth value will print it out in the mercury. So 0.33 it will be printed for island. If you want to print the location of colon it means what, all the values representing the value. So this is a colon already we know that slicing of the data. So if you are present colon, it means can containing all the values of it. So this is what actually we are using for location increment and I location starting from 0 and location starting from 1. So we need to understand the panda series. So how do we can convert it? So what actually we are understanding now, any data if you are having, then you can make a series of the data. It's like an object. Even if everything Python you can understand is an object oriented programming. You can create anything is an object. If you are creating one variable, it is like a variable object. Anything is we are creating as an object to do an operation of an object. Here we have to understand about the simple operations of Python. So we have to create one series. That series is nothing but PD dot series of. So we can give all the 9 values of the planet, mass, each and every value we can represent of planet, mass value of each planet. So this is a 9 value of mass. So Mercury mass is 0.33, Venus mass is 4.87. So all the 9 values of an index. So we create a series. So like what actually happened, it if you want to print, you can show index is a name of the planet, and the value of the planet is a Mars, is a mass. That is a value of the planet. So you can see here, you can print mass. So the planet name and mass values will be representing here. So let's execute one by one here. And then if you want to print using iloc and lock, if we can find mass of 1. So this is the value. Second value is starting with 0, and starting with 0, it means it will be coming the second value. If you want to print the first value of the same thing, if you want to print iloc value starting is 0, it is 1 is 4.878. If you want to using lock, it will be showing zeroth value, it is showing second value, it is showing 4.87. And if you want to print a mass dot location of earth, so it will be showing what is the values available there, that value will be printing out. And also mass of earth also it is showing. And if you can slice it, so in between earth, in between Jupiter, so in between earth to Jupiter, it will be printing out. So here you can see earth to Jupiter, earth, Mars and Jupiter. So earth and Mars and Jupiter, it is printing out here the values in between 2 to 5, 3 to 5. You can slice the values, you can take and you can store separately. And if you want to find out the mass value greater than 0, so how many planets having greater than 0, greater than 100, so it will be showing true, otherwise remaining every planet is showing false. So you can use greater than symbol also here. Mass greater than 100 you can use here. So these are the values, only 3 planets having the mass is greater than 100. You can run this, and you can check with both the conditions, mass greater than 100 and mass less than equal to 600. So both the condition will be true, the values will be representing uh, start and Neptune, then we can show the result. Then you can print mass again. So if you want to multiply with mass into 2, so all the mass will be multiplying it. And if you want to find out mass divided by 110, then you can find out. If you want to do that mean value of the mass, you can use pandas is creating a series. If you want to create any statistics of operations, if you want to apply that is statistical operation, trigonometrical operation, it is the most functionality working with the numpy is mostly we have to use it. So if you want to find out the mean of the mass, so you can easily you can do np dot mean. Because we are not finding out the average of data, because the data is missed values are there. The numpy is not deals with the missed values of the data, it is very efficient way. So that is why we can fill proper way of the missed values using pandas, then we can calculate the mean value, right? Here we are finding out the np dot mean of mass. So we'll find out all the values you can add, then we can find divided by number of values, and then minimum values in the mass, maximum value in the mass, then we can find out median value in the mass. If you want to add mass plus mass, so it will be mass minus mass. So we can do anything, you can create another one big mass. That mass is greater than 100, all the values you can store in the big mass, the big mass showing only for greater than 100 values. Mass value is greater than 100, it will be storing in separate file, that separate variable, it is called a big underscore mass. And you can execute another mass thing. Then you want to add mass plus big mass, what actually happened here? So big mass only 3, so remaining everything it is showing nan. It means what? No values are applicable, because big mass is having only 3 values and mass is having 9 values. If you want to add, only 3 values will be appended, the remaining 3 values it is not actually added anything. So it will be showing it is nan, it's not showing a previous value. If addition is not performed here, then we can find how many values is null. So we can know that. So remaining everything, 3 values only false, because the value will be added, remaining values, all the values are showing in the true only. Then you can find out value of which one value is having added values. This is the added values, only 3 planets. Then you can print moon. So we can you can find out the moon, you can substitute in the new value of the moon is not available here, we can add a new planet here. Then you can show here, you can execute the mass and the moon will be added here. You can drop any value, you can append and drop any value, you can do it. But if you want to change any value, you can select and then you can append. It will be showing, it is like already we studied outer joining in the SQL, right outer join, left outer join, the same thing. If you are adding of it, something is matched and added, remaining thing is showing nan. So you can do that. So we can do one task, that what that particular task correct numbers for the diameter of these planets, and store it as series object. Then given two series objects, mass and diameter, compute the density of the each planet. Right? Already we know that one already we created a mass. Right? Now we are going to create diameter for the density. So now we can find out for the diameter. So this is the diameter of all the Mars. You can create all the 9 Mars given in the diameter in the series. So we can create one density PD series, and then the series will be showing here. Nothing. The series will be type is float, and then we can dispute mass, the values here, and we can print a diameter. These values are representing for the diameter. Then you can write one for loop. It can the for loop it is having planet in mass dot index. So we can already mass index is nothing but the name of the planet. So now you can do one thing, density of planet. Already we create a series mass of planet divided by. So you can use some operation. This operation is not permittable now in numpy. If you are using numpy operations, it's not possible. That is why top of the numpy we are using in pandas. We can do by divided by any values. If you are finding for the planet diameter divided by 6, this mathematical functions will work out in pandas only. So we can find out these values using NBY, and we can do a division operation. Then finally we can find out the index of this. So you can find the print density showing some values e power minus 2. All the values nearby e power minus 2, minus 1 to minus e power 1. Small values is showing that. You want to find the density of the function mass divided by np dot pif star. So you can use it's a most of the statistical operation you can use for mpy and numpy operation. Then finally we can find out the density value. So these are the operations actually we need to understand uh, for creating each and everything. So see here, this is a question. Collect number of diameters of these planets. So already we created mass, all the values of the planets. Now we are going to generate the diameter of the planets. So two series objects we are having it, and then we can compute the density of the each planet. Based on the mass and diameter, we are going to find the density. That is why we are doing it. So density, what is we are going to find out? This is a formula. So based on the density series, we are getting mass already, diameter already. We now know that. So we are using the diameter of the planet. We can find out number. This is a formula we are using for this. Then we are finding out the density of the planet. Then find out each and every the for loop. Each and every planet we are finding out the density. We are storing and printing out using this for loop. So density will printing out here, and density equal to mass divided by. So what is the value we are finding out? This way also we can find out the density of each and every. So one by one we can find out. We can use the for loop. We definitely find out the density of it. Each and every planet. If you want to check mass of planet of X equal to 6, so density you can see here. Planet of X. Planet of X will add it, but it is not showing any value because we added in the position of sixth position. Then we are finding out density. It's showing planet of X is not having any value. Right? So if given the density series, replace all values with NaN first. So numpy it is not taking care of NaN, but here we are using the pandas, so we can taking care of the NaN values with the mean density of the all planets. So already we find out the all planets of values of density. So we can find the means of the all planets density, and that particular mean value you can substitute in the NaN. Instead of NaN, we are substituting in the mean value. Here density underscore mean equal to. So this is the one script we are writing using for density mean. It means what? It's means of all density. We are storing density mean. Then we can indexing it. So which one is having null value? That null value it is find out the density underscore mean value. It is will be substituted. Right? We are substituted here. Right? So this is the density of NP mean value. We are going to substitute here. So other way you can use this method also. So directly you can find mean of density value. Then you can, if you are finding any null value in the density, variable, then we can easily store np dot mean value. So instead of that, we can write a for loop. Otherwise, we can choose this line. Both the lines will be working out. So the same value will be coming out. And then if you are comparing the dictionary with the series, we can combine with what is a dictionary and what do you mean by series. Both the things we have to combine, checking if some key is present or some values are computing standard deviation. So this is my dictionary. It's having n equal to the power of 6. So we can create one dictionary. The dictionary size is dictionary values are what? What are the values are substituting for I mod of 10? The values will be storing in the my dictionary. So this is my series. This series will having my dictionary values, but my dictionary is not having all the values. Which one is percentage of matching it equal to 0? Then that values will be storing in the my dictionary. So you can see here, this value will be storing in the my series. This is my dictionary. So then this is the value of n 10 to the power of 6. I creating another one value is called a m. So equal to 10,000. Randomly I'm generating for an array starting with 0, ending with n. N already we know that 10 to the power 6. So 0 to 10 to the power 6 random values. So I need how many values is required? 10,000 values is required. So this is what array will be generated. So 10,000 values, we can imagine it. 10,000 values are representing the random values of 0 to 10 to the power of 6. All are integer values, right? It will be computing this one. It is required. So this is percentage time or time d is representing of how many loops is required to execute this my dictionary file. So it is 100 loops. So it is take 3.9 milliseconds per loop. It will be required. So how many loops will be required for this much of data randomly generated? How we are going to execute it? And if you are creating a series for the same array, I into R is same thing, but instead of my dictionary, we are creating my series. So you can understand it. So slowest runtime 0.05 times longer than the fastest one. This could mean that intermediate result is being cached. 100 loops, best of 3, 11.4 milliseconds per loop. So, so what actually shows that if you are creating my dictionary, it's showing 100 loops, best of then comparison. That is what actually we are seeing here. Compare dictionary with the series. If you are storing dictionary or if you are storing my series, so what actually happened? So how much time it will be taking? It's longer than the fastest. And then if you are seeing here, the same time my dictionary that values. So 100 loops. So one loop it is executing is 3.24 milliseconds per loop. That much values will be there because 0 to 10 to the power of 6 values, then it is containing 10,000 values. It is required more loops to execute this calculation of it. And then nf dot sum my series. So you can see here how many loops will be here. 1000 loops, best of 3, 830 milliseconds per loop. So instead of that, we have to find so mean of sum of my dictionary values divided by total number of n 10 to the power of 6, 10, 1, 6 zeros, and then variance you can find. So sum of the value x minus mu whole square for I in my dictionary values. So standard deviation we are coming variance into 0.5. So finally we can get mean value and variance and standard. So it is required this one. So we do it for standard deviation of my series. So what actually shows that we need to understand how much time it is required to store in dictionary and series if computing standard deviation or summing the values and checking if some keys also is a present. So this also we have to do that. This series can execute and understand this. And we have to see the nifty data. Nifty data is nothing but already I uploaded it. Yeah, so is there loading here. So nifty data it shows what actually. So Jan 1 to December 31st, what is the closing date, closing amount of the stock market? So 10,910 and 10,792 and 10,672. So values are the closing date. It is not a single stock, it is a collection of cumulative stock closing values. Then moving averages also, time series analysis, we studied ARIMA model. So moving averages also, we can find out each and every time managed informations, how the all the Fridays of the week, how the stock will be improving at, what is the moving average of the stack. So this thing also we need to understand for this part of series. So see here, so Nifty equal to then you can create one series read underscore CSV. It is a series a CSV file. We are going to read you how you are going to upload it. You can click it. This is an upload button. You can click it, then you can upload from whatever the file you are having in the desktop. Then you can choose the location and upload the file. And read underscore CSV, then index underscore column equal to 0 and ILAC. Right. So here using column equal to 0 1 and ILAC we know that. So this is a slicing of ILAC. So we are taking into nifty.csv file, then index column equal to 0 and starting with ILAC. ILAC colon, this means all values we have started with the starting with the 0. So here if you are not given also, it will be working fine. So these are values. So starting 01 Jan 2019 to 31 December, this value will be showing out. So another one thing, you have to find out all the 25 values, top 25 values in the Nifty file. You can click it nifty.head 25. First 25 values will be displaying here. And if you want to find out tail value of Nifty, you can execute last 25 values in November and December. It will be showing here. Then np.mean. This is in np.mean value and Nifty value. And you can find out the median of the Nifty value. You can know how many values are there, then in between even number or odd number. Based on that we are finding the median value, and we can find the standard deviation. Each and every value you can x minus x mu then whole square, given number of values, then we can find out for the average standard deviation, right? If you want to check the what is the first value of the Nifty using indexing, so Nifty of 0 will execute it, and the Nifty of 1, and you can execute Nifty of 0 minus 1 minus Nifty of 0. So it is a value minus value, it is showing out. So what actually we are understanding that the values will be first day, second day. If you are subtracting it, the values will be going minus or plus, positive value or negative value we are finding out, we are knowing out. So first day closing is done. Next day is 10,672. There's minus into first day, then we are getting the minus value. If your next value it is greater than third value, you can take 10,727. So if you are subtracting it, you are getting the positive value. Some days it is stock market is we are getting as a very positive value. Some days we are getting the negative values. Normally we can see here 1 2 3 4 4 is, so totally stock market is working for Monday to Friday, and Saturday Sunday is not working. So Saturday Sunday it is not presented here, not available in the data set. And then we can print so all the values of one dot colon, it will be showing here. So this is what Nifty 1 colon, it means what first value it is not showing here, remaining all the values will be showing. If Nifty of colon minus 1, then last values it will be showing here. Last 31 December it is not showing, last value it is prone it. So first value you can use this particular command, you can prove it, and this is a way to prove in the last value. Then you can subtract it Nifty 1 to minus 1, we're showing some kind of, because the last value, first value it is removed it. If you want to minus subtract it in the value of this one is mismatched it. So based on that, we can find out the and using NP, find out the sum value of nifty of values of one colon. This is slicing of it. Already we know that last one minus one greater than zero, then length of the nifty, then we can find out, right? So and we are going to find out the another things for rolling for the stock market, which how the stock market will be going the weekends, as well as every Wednesday stock market is rising positive or negative. So based on that, we have to take any one particular day for whole the year. We can do for the time moving average. We are finding out, right? Normally, what we can do that we are going to predict it. If we are getting three values, right? Each value we have to represent the each row in the Excel sheet. Then we are finding out the lagging values. So you can put three lagging value, four lagging value. Then you can copy it and you can put the simple linear regression models. So we are understanding it which particular linear regression model is alpha equal to 0.05 significance level. It is very low, lesser than. We can easily predict the significance of the hypothesis. What we are understanding, this is a better hypothesis for prediction or this one for the prediction. We see easily we can do it. The same way we can do here is a rolling of days, 5 days once, 10 days once, how the moving averages will be higher. Then based on that we can visualize the data, then we can find out the time series analysis model. So this is also we can do in Python Panda series. So we can understand this one. So now we are going to move on. So how to do with an Pandas framework, data framework. So if you're going to think, first you can import this in two libraries, NumPy and Pandas. And if you are creating data frame objects, so array of np.random.random int. So you can create 0 to 10. So the values 5 comma 3 matrix we can create the random values in between 0 to 10. But what I is required, 5 rows and 3 columns of one uh, array I want. So you can create it. This is a normal array. If you want to generate this normal array into one data frame values, rows and columns, you can execute this df dot pd dot data frame. This is syntax. Pd dot data frame of an array. So what actually it happens? So df equal to pd dot data frame of array. So we can create here. You can see here automatically on data frames is created. So what the values you are here 478. These are random, right? So that is a random of array. So if you are executing again and again, the values will be shifting out for the randomly stored. But columns, three columns, 0, 1, 2, automatically representing for the columns. Here also 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. It is a row values. But what actually there is representing, we can see the row values also. It is showing four columns like representation. It's showing it. So we can change this thing also possible. So we can choose df dot values. This is are the values, and if you want to create a df dot index starting with 0 ending with 5, step size is 1, and this is columns also, three columns 0 1 2 and step size is 1. We want to print columns, use for loop. This is you have to print the columns of df, so columns of prints this one, and df dot follows values of 0, then array of this value you can print it. What is the value here? 478. This value will be printed out, and then you can substituting the index into 1 0 1 2 3. Instead of that we can use some row 1 row 2 row 3 row 4 row 5. So we are using here. So this one also, then columns also c1 c2 c3. So it will be representing if you are executing this df, so automatically it shows the values of representing. First I execute this one. Yes. So it is representing, this is a row 1, it's a row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5. Data frame is created. If you want to execute this data frame, if you want to find the location, so R3, comma C2, so what is the value of it? So here to R3, R3 of C2, set 2. So based on the location also you can find out I location. And if you want to find out type of the I location .df, it is like nothing but data frame of the pandas. So if you want to slicing of the already existing whole table, so I want to slicing of the table into small table. So using df.log R3 of R5, so row 3 to row 5 and column slicing of C2 to C3, then the slicing matrix will be getting out. It's a small matrix of slicing matrix. So you can find out the slicing matrix index also using iLocation. So you can exclude it. And you can how size of the matrix, shape of the matrix. Already we know that 5 comma 3, and then transpose of the matrix we can do it. So this all you can do for matrix. Now if you want any, if you want to do any, if you want to create any data frames, so this is a function you can create. So number of columns, number of rows, the maximum random is equal to 10, right? So if you are giving 5 comma 3, so 5 comma 3, the maximum value 0 to 9 will be created. That is a max rand equal to 10. If you can create an array, so here number of columns and n rows and n column you can substitute. Then based on that, the random randin function will be working on it. Then create one data frame of an array. Then you can create index or you create a columns. So R1, R2, R3 is created as string x for given what is the data we are given for the df function. You can pass 5 comma 3 in this function. 5 is substituting for n rows, 3 is substituting for n columns. So automatically this much of one matrix will be created. So we can create one kind of function also for the data frame. So in the series of Python object, and we can substitute the rows, number of column, automatically the pattern will be created, right? So this is what actually the same thing you have to create this PD series of mass and diameter. Mass and diameter will be displaying it here. Then you can create a data frame for the mass and diameter also here. So this is where we are creating for the data frames in pandas. So 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 this is what actually how to do with the pandas, the library pandas. So we can understand first thing what is the limitation of numpy. So instead of that, we are applying for the pandas for no way to attach labels to data and pre-built models for filling missing values and no way of group of data, and not is limited as I'm showing what actually I'm showing here. It's very limited. So what are the showing here? So if you want to do a lot of things in pandas, so we have to work in the real-time project. So any one real-time project if you want to take, and pre-processing the values of the data for missing values, data cleaning, data analysis if you want to do, so definitely we can use this one. So most of the times this workshop, I'll show the basic foundation how we are working with pandas and NumPy using Google Colab files. If you good in PyCharm, so you can install a PyCharm and do this exercise. Then we can understand what actually pandas and libraries we are working at. So in live machine learning applications, if you want to develop in a scratch, definitely you require to understand this kind of thing, because what are the data machine learning, it is nothing but testing and training if you want to provide. So testing data you can given the learning model of that algorithm, then you can provide some test data, then training data you can learn, you can provide the learning algorithm and you can take any test data to test the algorithm. This particular data is that, so we need some kind of backend calculation and operations. This kind of libraries will be looking at most way efficiently we are using of it, right? And that is why actually now all the most of the uh, colleges have started AI as an official course. So that course is comprising of lot of mathematics foundations, like and data science. Also, it is need a lot of mathematical foundations. And the most important, I'll apply linear algebra and probability and statistics, then random process and stochastic process, random variables. Also, this is the most important thing. We need to understand uh, and probability. So most importantly, for example, if you are data mining, also if you are studying then classification clustering, And if you are, for example, if you are learning Bayesian classification is completely probability, you know that clearly. Each and every tuples, how many values of the classes will be presenting based on that you can count it. The probability is most important thing to find out. So most probably statistics and linear algebra and this comes the mathematics, the most foundation of that kind of data science and AI and data analytics models, right? So the both is totally is different. So AI, all the phases is not actually data driven approach. So if you are problem solving, it is no data driven approach, and reasoning also, knowledge representation also, it is not required for the data driven approach. But if you are going for the decision making, what are the data we are having, we are making a decision. It is a recommendation system or machine learning or deep learning or whatever, maybe if you are reinforcement learning. So if you are making the decision, it's a data driven approach, right? And then perception, NLP, languages. So these things also is a data driven approach. These two things only it is related to data science. But knowledge representation, reasoning, and as well as problem solving domain, it is not relevant to the data driven approach, right? It is a goal. Say agent is built it, the goal, the agent is knows how to travel in one particular place to another particular place based on the goal oriented way. We are going to the backtracking DFS and BFS, we are using it breadth first and depth first search we are using for finding the root one between these problems, going to this particular state or return back, then going for the another one state, and algorithm strategies in working out, right? So these are major so differences we can feel in AI as well as in data science field, right? So is the most important thing for learning this pandas as well as lumpy. And then another most important things we have to learn descriptive statistics and inferential statistics is also most important thing to deals with the data analytics, right? And hypothesis testing and chi-square testing. So these are the most parameters testing methodologies we learn for data analysis process. So completely in statistics, but we need now to become understanding as a data science specialist or AI specialist. We know how to do for simple AI projects, right? The building model is nowadays is different. So now everybody is connected to different devices. The previous days, 1990, we are not having any device with the hand. Now 2000, after that, the computing era is it is started that everybody is having the small smartphones with the hand, and the smartphones is connected to a lot of devices, a lot of services. So how many devices we are connected? Then email is coming, then one notification coming from the Facebook. So all the things we then we know that. So now the devices will be connected to interactive manner, the context based. It's not technology based. Nowadays, the technology based which actually is moving now. Now the technology is base is moving also, but even though it's an AI based kind of things will be moving ahead of the technology for the context, right? So this is the way. So I want to be explaining you for the pandas and numpy. I hope everybody will understand little bit about pandas and numpy for understanding purpose. Now I end up with my session for this library. I given to Geeta ma'am for the further any questions if you need, if you can ask, and then we wind up the session. Geeta ma'am.
Sir.
Yes.
Participants, if you have any queries, please be asked. Okay. So
Thank
I
you,
think
ma'am.
no queries, sir. Shall we conclude the session? Sir, Jaimani ring answer. Okay, answer. So, thank you, sir. I think no queries from the participants.
Thank
So today our resource person is Soundarajan, sir. have explained how to store and represent the data and how to convert give the data in matrix representation, and clearly explained the applications of pandas. Also practically explained how to use pandas and numpy tools, and how to overcome the limitations of limitations of numpy by using the pandas. Thank you, sir. On behalf of the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Excel Engineering College, I thank Soundarajan sir to be with us as a resource person. Thank you, sir. So at last, once again, I would like to thank all our resource person for the past 6 days. Dr. N. Uma Maheshwari ma'am, Professor, Department of CSE, PSNA College of Engineering and Technology, and Professor Kiran Kumar, Department of CSE, New Horizon College of Engineering, Bangalore, and Dr. Ajay Kaushik, School of Computing Science and Engineering, Galhotia University, New Delhi, and Dr. G. Madhusudanan, Professor, Department of CSE, WITS Planning, and Mr. Praveen Ramalingam, Senior Software Engineer, Medical India Private Limited, Chennai, and today's resource person, Dr. S. Soundarajan sir. So once again, I thank all our resource person to share their knowledge with us in this IICT sponsored STTP. Thank you. Now I request our today's resource person Soundarajan sir to give the valedictory address. Before that, kind information to the participants. So we have to take a snapshot, a screenshot. I request the participants to on the video. So now the session, it is over to Soundarajan sir. Sir, please, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, that is the most important thing to learn nowadays in artificial intelligence and data science. Instead of that, we know that we are having the world, it's data world. It's having huge number of data we have to deal with in more devices. It's connected together. So need to understand this kind of technologies to how to solve the real world problems of the humans. So now artificial intelligence is a plays the major role to the machines will talk together. The machine will react as a human, and the machine talk as the human is mimic actions of the humans. So the neural network and as well as the computer vision in deep learning, it will be nowadays it is familiar. They are did lot of projects they have to do with new technologies, and also in the Google also it did lot of uh, research oriented for computer vision itself. Taking any photograph, then the photograph will check for the background, and automatically the photograph, the places will be recognized it, what person actually inside the photograph. So everything is find it out in deep learning actually is used for understanding of the person itself. So we need to understand this kind of image processing techniques, as well as how we are going to apply in the real world data. So this is what actually my opinion for the workshop. It will be all 5 days. I think so. 6 days workshop. It is comprising of all the techniques of the data science and the AI, and as well as the big data analytics. I hope everybody will enjoy it for all the 6 days. So in my perspective, it is a required workshop for everybody to understand this technology. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Um, Now I request Dr. S. Sridhar sir, HOD CSE, to give a vote of thanks. Please, sir.
Good evening to all. I'm audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Okay. Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Excel Engineering College, successfully organized 6 days online AICT sponsored STTP on recent trends in machine learning and big data analytics using Python programming from 14th December to 19th December. First, I would like to thank our management and Dr. K. Baman Raja, Principal, and Dr. Nalusamy, Director Administration, and Dr. D. Devakumar, Director IRRP, for providing continuous encouragement and support for completion of STTP as a grand success. I also extend my thanks to today's guest, Dr. Soundararajan, Program Chair of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, VIT Bhopal. He's delivered an effective hands-on training session. Thank you, sir. I may feel to express our sincere thanks to all resource persons for giving wonderful session on the last 6 days. Then I also extend my thanks to Dr. Geeta, Program Coordinator and faculty members of Computer Science and Engineering for their enormous cooperation making the STTP a grand success. To meet the dynamically technological changes, the efficient training programs are needed for faculty members. So I hope this STTP meet out the expectations of participants. I thank all the participants from various institutions for your active participation and making the event a grand success. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I thank all the participants, and the feedback link is given in the chat box. Also, STTP quiz is also quiz link is also given in the Google Meet chat box. I request the participants to complete the feedback and quiz without fail. And I also thank all the participants for completing this STTP in successful manner. Thank you, one and all. So shall we end the session, sir? Sir? Feedback link and quiz link is given in chat box. Participants kindly complete the feedback link and quiz without fail. Sir, shall we end the session, sir?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, sir.
Please wind up the session.
Okay, sir. Thank you, one and all.